I can't believe it, but we are just the night before one of the perhaps greatest places to see a fight in London. This is UFC Fight Night London at the O2. Curtis Blades against Tom Aspinall, which we're going to talk about here on the casuals. It all started with Jackie Mack, hashtag Jackie Mack forever, Jack McCarthy and his love, and Nate and Jake's and my love for mixed martial arts, and unfortunately Jack lost his life to the fentanyl, and it has crushed us all. But we decided we would continue on with his legacy in our love for being casuals and the love for MMA. So fuck fentanyl, fuck the cartel, and you know what? Fuck all of your DSZs.
Cause I'm the king of the casuals, the casual king. I'm the king of the casuals, the casual king.
I don't like the wrestling in MMA wrestling. I love it personally.
I love jiu-jitsu. Okay, look, I love jiu-jitsu.
The king of the casuals, the casual king. King of the casuals, the casual king. Cause ain't nobody bringing you the casual thing.
Right? Look who just showed up. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from the West Coast, up there on your right side, it is Jake, the Snake Woodring.
Let's not introduce that man yet. I don't know who this Jake the Snake, not some old wrestler. My name is Don Jonaher. You invited me here.
I appreciate you, Mr. Jonaher, coming along to be on the show. I know you're quite knowledgeable on the sport in general, particularly on the ground, but whatever. You know, just be nice to Nate tonight, right?
I don't know who Nate is or what you're talking about with the sport or the ground. I am here to talk about my best student. His name is Ryan Gordon, and our ping pong championships are going to be unbelievable this year.
Down in the front, if I may interrupt, Mr. Jonaher, we have Nate Lee.
Yeah, guys, super excited, man. This card, Jonaher and I were looking at it the other day, and this card is stacked. And if we take into account the amount of energy that was in the O2 Arena last time they were there, hey, man, this thing's set up to be a really great card tomorrow.
Yeah, you got that. Hopefully, the audio tomorrow will be better. Bisbane's audio will be better than yours is tonight. It sounds like you sound like Val Kilmer did in the second Top Gun.
I knew these guys were amateurs. I told you not. My bad. Sorry, guys. Yes. So I don't know anything about MMA, so casual, if you will. But Nathaniel and I did have a conversation about these fights, and I just love people punching other people in the face. So this is going to be really fun.
I think
that's
so.
One of my favorite things to watch.
Yeah. Let's just start right off with the fights. Everybody's favorite bear Jew, Paul Craig, is actually an underdog. Buddy fucking Williams. So I like Paul Craig in this fight. I think that Paul Craig has proven that he's the guy that you can never count out. When he snatched Jamal Hill's arm, that's all I needed to see. He's pretty good.
Well,
I don't think. Sorry, Nate. I don't think that that Ozdemir Ozdemir hasn't looked that good lately.
Well, if you look at Paul Craig's last 10 fights, he's 7-2-1, and in the last 6, he's 5-0-1. He's on a hot streak. I think he's found a little something, and I mean, like you said, Volkov hasn't looked great recently. I mean, Paul Craig, hopefully he keeps this thing going.
Yeah, I agree. I like him a lot. What does Don Jonaher have to say?
Thank you, Don again. I watched a couple of your guys' shows and saw that you guys are pretty big fans of this Bear Jew. He looks like a savage individual, and I would not bet against that guy. I think he fights for a title in the near future, in the next year and a half to 2 years.
Wow, some big predictions from Mr. Jonaher. I hope you're right. Then we move along to Meatball, crowd favorite Molly McCann against Hannah Goldie. Now, Molly's minus 390, so that's a pretty big
Yeah, I'm going with Molly as well. I mean, she looked great in her last outing, and I mean, I don't know why I decided to look at a bunch of records today because I have a bunch of stats that I'm just going to throw out. Goldie is 2-2 in her last 4, so I think McCann, especially with home field advantage, is going to go out there and going to show out.
Stats master there. What's McCann's record in her last 4 fights?
She is in her last 5 fights. She's 3-2.
So she's 3-2 in her last 5 fights. I don't know either of these people, but I'm going to go the underdog on this one and say Goldie pulls it out. Decision, but pulls it out.
Wow. All right, I like that prediction. Now moving on to some big fellas. Fan favorite from Sweden, Alexander Gustafsson, has got to face Nikita Krylov. So big underdog is Gustafsson in this one. I think for good reason.
When I was looking at these two guys, both of them, they have not won a lot of fights recently. Krylov is 1-3 in his last 4 fights, and Alexander Gustafsson has lost several of his last fights. The issue becomes is that they were fighting murderers row. Both these guys are fighting the top guys in the division, and sometimes, I mean, this doesn't go your way, right? Like if you're fighting the champion and the soon-to-be champion, and then some other really top guys, and you drop 3 or 4 of them, like you're still a top 5 guy in the world, but these other 4 guys are better than you. So, I mean, both of them have fought the top guys in the world. And to be honest, Krylov's been a lot more active, and I think that's going to be the difference.
The fact that he hasn't fought recently, it means that he will be less injured and a little bit more fresh. As Uncle Chael says, you don't get any better. This is the one thing you don't get better the more you do it. Most things you do, but fighting, not so much.
Yeah, you leave a little piece of yourself in there every single time.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna go with. We didn't pick, but I'm gonna actually take the underdog here. I'm gonna pick Gustafsson.
Nate.
I'm gonna go with Gustafsson because he's got to get a win. I think he's lost his last 3. He's got to get a win, or else maybe he's moving on to a different organization or he's retiring. So I'm pulling hard for Gustafsson to get a win tomorrow.
Nate, how do you do that? You talk without your mouth moving. He's a ventriloquist, I tell you. You froze.
Whose hands in your butt? I got Krylov. That guy. I think Gustafsson. He's the blonde, tall Swede, correct? That's who that guy is. I've seen him before. He's old now too, right? Like, is he doing anything these days?
He gave Nate's boy John Jones a hell of a fight once.
100
years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. That was
probably the last time John Jones fought.
That was right after the American Revolution, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
But Krylov, I think Krylov's the younger fighter, and I think Gustafsson is just trying to hang on at this point and see if he can have a Glover Teixeira-esque reignition of his career. But I don't see it.
All right, that's fair. I like Gustafsson. I just remember he was on the cover of the first UFC EA Sports game, and I like that.
Awful.
So next we have a probably the People's Champ fight. At least if you're in London, we have the very strange Jordan Levitt. He seems a little effeminate for a fighter. I mean, it doesn't matter. I truly don't care. I just noticed that I was watching him. I'm like, this guy's got some funny mannerisms that
doesn't matter. But it's the first thing you brought up about the guy.
Because I noticed it. You fucking old prick.
Well, for us individuals who can touch into our more sensitive side, I would say that he probably going to win this fight.
I'm so offended by that fucking. I'm so offended by that fucking pinky. I'm so offended by that fucking pinky. Hey, you better tuck that shit the fuck in.
I love it. Fucking
Jesus Christ.
Drunk on the show. All right, so yes. How does good? I'm glad. Um, how is Al? See, I thought of offensive, and I almost called Patty Pimblett Ali Abdiaziz. You fucking
Oh,
cunt.
did you see? Did you see what he did to him at the fucking weigh-ins? He went to go give him a handshake, and then he fucking did the. I love that guy, man.
So my view on Patty is that yeah, he's weird and exciting, and he looks like he's from 1974, Led Zeppelin. But he fights very sloppy to me. The fights I've seen, he's all over the place. He wins.
I hope he starts to adjust his freaking diet so he's not going up and down. Like he has some tendencies that don't lend to a very long career. So hopefully he can get some of these things in check and keep winning. And I love this hype train.
How in the hell does he? I don't know how he does that. Why he gets so big? I mean,
let me explain it to you. Let me explain it to you. So in between my ping pong matches, you got to weigh in. I'll weigh in 165, 170, and in between matches, I'll blow up to about where I'm at right now, am I most comfortable, which is about 2. And it makes you comfortable, makes you happy with life. But the thing with Wilford Brimley Patty Pimblett, he's going to get diabetes tomorrow, and it's gonna affect his fighting career. What I will say honestly about it though is that he reminds me of an early Justin Gaethje, coming out of the other league that he was in, coming into the UFC. That Michael Johnson fight. That one was just sloppy by Gaethje, but it was effective because he caught Johnson with those shots. Not to mention Gaethje's wrestling is phenomenal.
And Johnson's a seriously good fast striker too.
So I see a big parallel between an early Gaethje and where Patty Pimblett's at right now, and I think this fight's going to be the one where he gets caught and he's going to get knocked the fuck out.
Wow, you think he's going to get knocked out?
Or he's going to get submitted like that because he's going to overextend, get taken down. The guy's going to wrap him up, and he's going to get choked out. I think Patty Pimblett gets a wake-up call today, and it's what's going to force him to become a better fighter. Yeah, ping pong is funny.
I think I'm going to pick Patty Pimblett. Nate?
Yep. I'm going to go with Patty Pimblett. Like I said, I want this hype train to keep going. I mean, if he loses, hopefully he goes to somebody like Trevor Whitman and they get his shit locked in and he goes on a run. But I think tomorrow he continues the hype train. He's at home. He's always game. And, I mean, as long as he doesn't fucking catch a couple in the face like he usually does, I mean, it's such a gamble when you fight like that. Like, you put yourself in such a bad position to lose, and that stuff can only go on for so long. Those higher level people are going to catch you, and your strategy is no longer going to be effective.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see. Jack Hermanson is somebody that I've had high hopes for, and he's good. Don't get me wrong, but he lost a couple that I don't believe he should have lost. Is facing Chris Curtis, who
I got stats for you. So this guy's been on a tear. In his last 3 fights, he's undefeated with 2 KOs, and he's won his last 8 fights. So this guy's on a tear right now. He's in the zone, and Jack Hermanson is 2-3 in his last 5 fights. So
yeah,
so you can see like these guys are headed in different directions. Hype and ability and all those things are great, but you got to win the fights. So hopefully he's able to pull this one out and go in the right direction. But Chris Curtis has been on a streak lately.
CC and I, Chris Curtis for you guys, but CC and I, when we were training, I didn't see a single takedown. I don't even know if he practiced one, to be honest. So I don't see that happening.
Well, his takedown average is 0.
Well, that's probably a good reason why when we were in the ping pong gym, I didn't see any takedowns. But,
his takedown defense, 100.
Weird how that happens. That table, nobody gets past that ping pong table.
So, you crazy motherfucker. All right.
CC's got this one. Second round knockout.
I'm going to go CC. I'm going to say first round knockout.
Yeah, I'm going with Chris Curtis. Chris Curtis knockout.
It's unanimous, ladies and gentlemen. King of the casuals. All the casuals agree. All right, next we have the main event. This one, for me, is there's a bit of, if I can get maudlin just for about 10 seconds, Jack Loved Curtis Blades. Loved the way he fought. Loved his wrestling. Loved everything about him. Loved his courage to get up and speak with, knowing that he, sometimes has a issue with that, and you just really like the guy a lot. And I like Curtis Blades a lot too because he's a tough guy. I did root against him one time, and that was when the Black Beast fought him and knocked him out. um, but that's the only time. Man. Blades is he's a real deal. I think on any given night he can beat anyone in the division. However, it's a little early to start saying Aspinall is all.
Aspinall's like 6-0 in his last
Yo.
6 fights.
Is Aspinall is 5-0 in the UFC. Curtis Blades is 10-2 in his last 12 fights, and he's fighting the top of the division. Like you said, Derek Lewis, Francis Ngannou, all those guys at the top of the division. Aspinall's an up-and-comer. I don't think he's starting to. Obviously, he fought Volkov last time and fucking put on a show. I'm curious to see if Curtis Blades tries to take him down with Aspinall's jiu-jitsu. Like his jiu-jitsu, he put it on display in the last fight, and let's see what happens. I'm very excited because if Aspinall wins this one, he's off to the races. Like this is the one that shows if he's a contender or not at this point in time. And Blades, like you said, he's been at the top of the division, and he's looking for a title fight. I think if he gets this win, maybe he's next in line.
Ask me on the show.
Go ahead, Don.
Well, I looked this one because they were big. Yeah, they're big guys, and those guys like to fight. But this Aspinall kid, I hope Blades tries to take him down because it's going to be a battle for him no matter where he's at. It doesn't matter where Aspinall's at. I think he is the future of his division. And he is going to come out and he's going to show that in a battle that I think goes much deeper than people think it's going to go. I think the striking between the two nullifies. It turns into wrestling and some standing grappling up against the cage. And whoever can get the other one down and on top, honestly, I think it's a bad idea for Blades to even try to go to the ground with Aspinall. I don't think his jiu-jitsu is anywhere near Aspinall's. I think Aspinall wins this in the 4th round by submission.
Wow. All right, I am. I'm gonna say surprise knockout for Curtis Blades in round 3. Aspinall's gonna get a little comfortable at home, and he's a lot lighter than Blades actually. When Blades gets into the octagon, he's gonna be like 275. I think that. I think Blades is going to take him down and ground and pound him and finish him with slamming elbows.
I'm in agreement with Don. I think Aspinall comes out, and whether he's taken down or he takes down Curtis Blades, it's going to be Aspinall by submission at some point.
Sorry, Nate. It's hard for me to take anything anyone says seriously with Captain Pinky over there. No offense.
I agree.
No offense.
For me, it's all offense. That is so offensive. You need to stop it.
Class. Have some.
Class? That's a fucking plastic cup you're drinking wine out of. Goddamn fucking.
It's 100% recyclable, and I had to save some for later. Conundrum 2020.
Fucking disgusting.
I think it's a great card. I'm excited for it. I wish I didn't have to train so early for ping pong and then come back real quick and try and watch the fights because they're in across the pond.
Jesus, Jamie. It's like 8 a.m. Are you gonna fucking stay up to watch them, or are you gonna try to get up early?
No, dude. I wake up every morning at 5 a.m. Yeah. But I am going to take...
God, I wish I could have been there. 76. I wish I could have been there for that fucking transition.
Sorry about that. Don had to go. He said he had some ping pong stuff to do. So,
hey guys, Jake, thanks for coming on.
Who the hell is drinking all this wine?
I don't know. Some guy named Don Jonaher. All right, it was a good show. Tell Mr. Jonaher We enjoy
I will.
having him on.
I will. He said he
Nate,
may come back
I-
again if there's ping pong talk.
We'd love to see him. We'd love to see him. We'll talk ping pong. Nate, thanks for wearing your Star Wars shirt from 5th grade. And
Yep, no
I love
worries.
you both.
Love you as
Jackie
well.
Mack forever. Enjoy
Jackie
the
Mack.
UFC London.
Jackie
Jackie
Mack.
Mack, and there it is. Until next time, folks.
King of the casuals, the casual king. King of the casuals, the casual 'cause ain't no